I recently finished building a Princeton Reverb kit from Mojotone, and I wanted to share some audio samples for others who might be interested in how it sounds. This video will include clips of the amp being played through a few different speaker cabinets, including the 2x8 shown here. For any builders who are interested, here's a quick look at the inside of the amp. It mostly follows the original AA1164 schematic, though I did include a few mods. I added adjustable bias, switchable negative feedback, screen resistors and grid stoppers in the power tubes, and I also tweaked the resistance and capacitance in the tremolo circuit to slow it and deepen it. These are all based on tips from Rob Robinette and others. I did a couple of additional minor tonal mods. First, the post-phase inverter coupling caps were reduced from 0.1 microfarads to 0.02 microfarads, and I added a switchable cathode bypass capacitor value on V1A, not shown in this photo as I did the mod later. Both of these mods are to rein in the low end of this amp, and neither has a drastic effect, though I believe that the effect is helpful to the overall performance of the amp. A few details about the equipment used to record the clips. I used two guitars in the video. For single coil tones, a G&L Legacy with its stock Duncan pickups, and for humbucker tones, a Les Paul Standard with a Mojotone PAF clone. On a few of the tracks, I also used the pedals shown here to give low, medium, and high amount of dirt to a clean signal. And I also used the Legato loop stage for all the clips, which I'll explain in a moment. The amp is equipped with roughly the tube complement you'd expect. With one modification. Because the Princeton Reverb has more reverb on tap than anyone realistically needs, I replaced one of the 12AX7s with a hybrid tube that uses a lower gain 12AU7 in one half of its two triodes. That corresponds to V3A, which is the reverb recovery stage, and serves to decrease the amount of reverb that gets mixed into the main signal path. Even with this mod, I still wouldn't see myself going higher than 6 or 7 on the reverb control. As I mentioned earlier, all of the clips that I played will be demoed through 3 different speaker configurations, including a 1x12, a 1x10, and a 2x8 cabinet. I won't read through all of this, but you can pause if you want to stare at it for a moment. As for the recording configuration, let me briefly summarize, and again you can pause if you want to read the details more carefully. I recorded all the clips into the looper before beginning the amp demo. The looper is then fed into the amp, along with any pedals, during recording, so I can get consistent performances for the audio. I mic'd the cabinets using a 57. After recording, all the clips were loudness normalized, but that's the only processing that was done. For the 2x8 cabinet, I recorded from both speakers and combined that in a stereo mix. Here's a look at the 10 different audio clips that were generated for each speaker. You don't need to remember this because it'll be on the screen during the demo. As you can see, the first 6 clips were all done with the amp set clean with a volume of 4, in some cases using pedals to add dirt. The last 4 clips are with the amp turned up to 8, which is very, very loud and also very overdriven, as you'll see. There are 3 pairs of clips that were specifically for the purpose of showing the impact of some of the amp's mods. Clips 3A and 3B show the effect of reducing the value of the first cathode bypass capacitor from 5 microfarads down to 0.6 microfarads. This shifts the cutoff frequency of the high-pass filter created there from around 20 Hz to around 180 Hz. Clips 6A and 6B are doing the same thing, but for a more overdriven sample where the amp could get really muddy otherwise. And then clips 5A and 5B show the effect of disabling the negative feedback, which serves to increase the overall gain a bit. Not much to say here, I just want to give you a look at all the clips that were captured and that you'll hear in the demo. In total, on all 10 clips add up to about 3 minutes of sound, so there's going to be a total of under 10 minutes of audio clips approximately. So the way that I organized this was that the demo will go through all of the clips for each speaker. If this were a speaker shootout, I would have done it differently and played each clip through all of the speaker combinations so that you could hear those differences. But that's not what my goal was here. The goal is to show you what the amp can do. If you want to skip to a particular section, you can use the chapter controls. That's it for the talking. Thanks very much for listening. Hope you enjoy it.